Hello everyone, welcome back to Waterloo Road Rewind. This is very exciting as we're about to kick off with Series 3 of this incredible show. It's crazy to think that over the past few months we've done 20 episodes already. I mean, I feel like I started it around April time, so it kind of makes sense. Like I said, well, this is the issue with me recording in advance and episodes coming out. I can never remember what order things are said, so this might be out of order, it might not be. It's all a bit of a jumble. If I can get to a point where I can comfortably do a few weeks of 2 episodes a week, then I will do it. I'm trying to offer more content without giving me too much of a workload to keep to by doing like the character of the month and the specials. I mean, you will have just had 2 of them recently. We talked about Lewis Seddon. I get it's a bit of a controversial choice because of the actor and where he ended up, but I think Lewis is quite fascinating, so I wanted to chat about him. And then also, the most recent specials I did was Fan Theories, which with Series 18 on the horizon, I thought would be fun to get some of my ideas and stuff out there. As I said, I'm probably going to be proven very wrong, but we'll have to wait and see. Series 3 is interesting because it feels like it's the first real shake-up to the cast. I always view Series 1 and 2 as like one 20-episode run because thematically they're very similar. They're really finding their feet. The cast pretty much stays the same all the way through. You get additions like Davina and Brett and stuff, but generally it's that's it for 20 episodes. Someone's at the door. I'll be right back. Sorry, that was the postman. Had a few parcels. Right, as I said, it feels like the cast is very contained and the same. Like, we don't have a lot of changes. I mean, the episode count varies. We get the new opening credits, the one that would go on to be the same forever, even to this day. I mean, it's a slight remix, but it's the recognisable tune. Like at this point, I feel like the Waterloo Road theme song is as recognisable as Doctor Who or EastEnders in the UK. Like, let's be honest. So I'm kind of glad it's that. But like, the interesting thing is, like, despite not meeting a lot of these new characters, we just get the opening credits and then, like, we see, so Izzy and Lorna are gone. Obviously, they've both passed away now. We see Jasmine's been added, Matt's been added, Grantley's been promoted to series regular, and Davina's also been promoted to series regular. So this is the cast. And it stays like this for the most part for the next 2 series. And it's a good sort of core setup. Oh, we got Eddie as well, and Rachel comes in later on. But that's kind of the setup. This is also kind of different because, like, it's 2 blocks of 10 episodes. So it feels like we get each series now kind of feels like a 10 episode run. A bit like how the modern shows just got 8 episode blocks that they call series. But to some degree, I think it may have been better to just have... I get they would have been very oddly weighed. Like, Series 11 could be 22 episodes. That's all of the Kim Campbell stuff. Series 2 could be 8 episodes, and you've got Steve. And then I would have Series 3 be 15, 16, 17. Or you could have Series 14 and 15 together and have a 16 episode run and call it Series 2. And then Series 3 could be another 16 episode and you've got all the stuff with Darius. Like, it's just awkward to think about, so it probably is better to segment it. But even then, I would argue to some degree that that's the way you should look at the original show. It's fine up until Series 6 and 7. That's where things begin to get messy. Because if we look at Series 7 as its own self-contained thing, you've got Karen for 10 episodes and then 20 with Michael. So I think it may have been better if they knew that they were only going to have Karen for 30, to just make Series 6 a 30 episode run. But they didn't know that. And I think they were hoping they were going to get Amanda Burton for more, but she just decided not to do more, which is more than fair enough. So this one introduces new character Carla, who's got Asperger's. I think the term Asperger's is a bit dated now. It's more just like autism, like she's part of the autistic spectrum. And to be fair, I mean, her character grows and stuff across this 10 episodes and we see more of her. But I think that the actress did a good job. Like, I get some people have said there's like a lot of negatives or there's like a lot of cliches and stuff, which isn't true for a lot of neurodivergent people. But I just think, like, for the whole, they sort of handled the character well. Like when I think of like good characters that are on the autistic spectrum, I think of things like Abed from Community. Like he's a very good representation of like someone who's on the spectrum. We see his character sort of grow across the series. We see things he finds difficult. Like in his mind, it's easier to interpret life as a TV series. That's kind of the narrative thread. Um, like we see Carla get overwhelmed. We see Grantley snipe at her and stuff. Like when she arrives at the school, Jack misses the paperwork because he's just swamped by so much paperwork. Like he just can't get to it. So he tells Carla's mother that that he doesn't think there's a place at Waterloo Road for her, and Jack has some kind of motto or something that says "No student left behind," and she basically coerces Jack into doing it. Jack just doesn't think the school can facilitate Carla, but like her mum said, Carla's not a bad girl. She just needs structure and she sort of needs a comfort zone. It's how Davina kind of comes into it and becomes kind of like Carla's like teaching assistant, like to aid her in class, to help her understand so she doesn't get overwhelmed. Um, Jack and Eddie assume that she should be in the bottom sets for things because they think that she would struggle. But she proves in maths with Eddie that she's incredibly intelligent. She talks about books and plays and stuff that she likes, and Eddie's like, oh, she needs to be in the top set. So she ends up in the top set with Grantley for English and the top set for maths because she's just that academically gifted. But she takes things very literally. It's like when Jack says, can you wait outside, please? Jack meant outside the office, and he should have specified that, but Carla interpreted it as outside, so she's on the school grounds somewhere. It's kind of things like that, and we see the evolution. Grantley pushes her. Grantley doesn't understand the situation. Carla gets very scared and overwhelmed. I've been there. I get it. And she basically hits Grantley with a chair. Grantley sees it as just like a disruptive, awful student and tries to protest it. Steph, too, just sees Carla as difficult. Steph, who I might add is now the head of pastoral care, does a terrible job of looking after Carla. Like, she's meant to give Carla medication and basically like look after her best interest. Steph forgets to do that and just sort of like dosses about, not really doing anything. She and Grantley automatically brand Carla a bad kid along with some of the other teachers, which Jack and Davina are not happy about. I get it's a different time and that Steph is meant to be ignorant, but I don't really think the comment of calling a Rain Man was particularly good. I think that's where some of the humour's aged a bit poorly, but again, if you conceive it as Steph's ignorance, then I think it's fine. And like I said, I like what they do with Carla's character. I actually think that the more the show goes on, she becomes more of a like solid example for someone who is on the autistic spectrum or someone who's neurodivergent. It's just at the beginning in this one episode, a lot of it does feel quite one note and cliched. And had Carla just been a student of the week and they left it here, then I think it would have been quite damaging and problematic. But the fact that they take it further and they build on her is really good. And she actually becomes one of like the best characters of this era, in my opinion. Like her growth and stuff becomes really, really good the more the sort of show goes on. Sorry, I think that was my tummy. The mic picked that up. I just haven't had lunch yet. But yeah, sort of that was that. So Chloe and Dante decide to get married, and they haven't told Tom because Tom will object to it and try and stop it. Mika is very much in the camp of like, you need to tell Tom, he deserves to know. Chloe keeps claiming that she will, but she's just too scared to do it. Eventually, she does do it, and Tom tries to stop the wedding, and there's an argument and stuff between them. Chloe does eventually concede and says she needs Tom. I think more than anything, she just misses her mum and everything's difficult. Tom too misses Izzy. She gets it. It's a tough situation and they sort of reconcile. I always find this sort of thing interesting because Chloe and Mika aren't technically young enough that they need a guardian figure. So legally they can have like the rights to the house. And Tom just can't like have his say. He can, if they want him to have like live there as a lodger, he does, and he does sort of look out for their best interest, and he is sort of like a parental figure. He is sort of like their dad because Jimmy's generally quite useless, and they know that Izzy would want Tom to look out for the girls, but like legally, as I said, Tom has no say. Even Dante moving in and stuff, Tom can't really put a stop to it. So I guess it is kind of, it's a difficult position, and it is kind of a weird one for them to be in. I also found the whole like wedding thing a bit weird because there's barely like any of them sort of there. Like, I thought there'd be more students and more people involved, but it is basically just like Chloe, Dante, Brett, Mika, and I feel like it's Maxine and Janice are also there. Oh, and everyone's favorite character, Clarence, is there as well. I love Clarence. So yeah, they finally do it after talking about it for 2 series. It opens with them getting married. So kind of have to see where that goes. This episode also shows Jack beginning to struggle and the cracks beginning to show. Like, despite how much he was fighting to be the head teacher of Waterloo Road, he really is struggling now. I guess it must have been quite difficult for him to have Kim and Andrew both leave him. And I do think Eddie is a good deputy head. Like, I did it in my ranking video. I really rate Eddie. Like, I put Eddie number 1 in my deputy ranking list. While I did say to my friend Luke, I feel like between Andrew, Chris, and Eddie, they can swap around. At this moment in time, I'd still comfortably put Eddie in first place, I think. Because like I said, he's built like a brick shithouse, but he's just so soft and just really approachable. But what's interesting is, and I'm guessing quite a lot of you probably know this, but Neil Morrissey, who plays Eddie, hated his time on the show. His wife said that it made him a bitter person, and he just found the scripts to be really terrible and just like really bad. I don't think the scripts are terrible and bad. I think you're on Waterloo Road at the peak times. Series 3 to 5 is absolute peak Waterloo Road. So I don't know why you're sat here being like, oh, scripts are terrible. So yeah, there's no chance Neil Morrissey's ever going to return. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he would have done by now. I still think Eva Pope might return. I kind of hoped that just off screen they would just sort of correct the whole Adam and Rachel thing and have Rachel end up with Eddie. And if Neil Morrissey wasn't so against being on the show, I think that would have been fun. I mean, I get it would be a bit of a tease, but you could have Rachel come back and her just say like, "Oh, my husband Eddie," and just have him be somewhere else. But again, I don't know if they want to do that. But again, it's me talking. I hate the Rachel Adam, the Rachel Adam thing. It's so bad. Like, Adam is such an insufferable character. My friend Luke quotes him all the time. It's like, no, food is an experience. He just all the teachers, everyone gathering together at lunchtime. It's just, oh, he's the worst. Anyway, so I like the team up of Eddie and Jack. I think Eddie and Rachel have got the better chemistry, but Eddie and Jack is also a good duo. We sort of see the beginning of that. They talk on the radio show, the Big and Waterloo Road Up. But as I said, Jack isn't coping. The cracks are starting to show, and he just can't deal with it. He doesn't know what to do. So he basically starts paying the rich families money to send their kids to Waterloo Road. So like we see it. He gives I think it's Danielle, Alicia, their parents, like I think it's $2,000 to send their daughters to Waterloo Road, to try and boost the like numbers. I mean, you've got Brett, who's naturally going to boost the numbers, but I mean, if all the other kids are failing, it's going to be a D or lower average. But like, thing is, Jack can't really do that. It's not a good use of the school finances. And this is the most interesting arc for Jack. And it's sort of like we see him deteriorate a bit until he's just like, I can't do it anymore and I don't want to do it anymore. But the thing is, I think that with Jack's 2 storylines, you've sort of had the big one, which a lot of the head teachers go through. And that's the vote of confidence. It's whether they should be running the school. And Jack went through it and he did it. He told the benefactor to go screw it and it's his school and they'll run it his way. I mean, we see it happen with pretty much every other head teacher. Like Max begins to question Rachel's leadership. The LEA aren't happy with Rachel's leadership. Lorraine starts to question Michael's leadership. The LA aren't happy with Christine's leadership. Vaughan is just there right at the end when the school's facing closure. The higher-ups aren't happy with Kim's leadership. Steve isn't there long enough to have the storyline. And, I mean, it was Darius's doing, but I think people began to question whether Stella still had her marbles. So, like, they all sort of go through similar kind of plotting. Like, it's not a... Like Karen and Jack essentially have the same thing happen, except Jack succeeds and Karen gets fired. So, like, it's where do they really go with Jack's character? And I think that was part of what made Jason Morales work anyway, was he loved his time on the show, but I think it was just, right, what can we do with this character now? But all of the stuff that they're doing for the modern show with Jack is really, really good. So I'm more than happy. Like, when I found out that Jack Rim was coming back, I thought it would just be for a few episodes and it would be a bit gimmicky, a bit kind of like Andrew. But no, I really rate it, and I'm so happy that we've got more Jack Rimmer, because Jack is like really good. Jack, Stella, Rachel, Michael, they're like my faves. So it's good. So I'm on board with it. Yeah, a good start to series 3 so far, and I'm excited to watch more. As always, if you're enjoying the content, then please like, comment, share this. I'm trying to push it as much as possible. We've now got a Twitter page, which will be linked in the description, so jump on board, follow the socials, and yeah, hope you're enjoying the content, and until next time, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.